My name is Tanya Burrell. I have been an ATDOE Memorial Foundation board member for 10 years. That's right, 10 years, humbled in serving children, women's empowerment programs, and basic healthcare needs, all for benefit of giving. At this moment, I'd like to recognize our foundation founders, Francis and Cecile. Say hi.
How you doing? How's everyone doing?
Good. Thank you, Tanya. It's a pleasure being here.
ATDOE. Do you know that ATDOE has spent 10 years of providing education to 370 students every year for 10 years? Basic healthcare needs every year for 10 years, and women's empowerment programs. So yes, every year we do need your help. If you find it in your heart to give, don't forget to check our website for www.atdomf.org. So let's move to our brand ambassadors, the reason we're here tonight. For ATDOE, what is a brand ambassador to us? Well, a brand ambassador represents the ATDOE Foundation brand initiative. They help to expand the foundation's values and programs with their network. They help raise funds to sustain the foundation's core programs. Our brand ambassador. And they recommend, yes, brand ambassador. And they recommend strategies to help strengthen or expand the foundation's core programs and mission. That's what a brand ambassador is to ATDOE. Tonight we have 3 brand ambassadors: David Holtz, Tanya Lewis, and Cheryl Parker. I would like to introduce them and have them introduce themselves and talk a little bit about why they give. So at this moment, I'm going to open the floor to David Holtz.
Hi, thank you, Tanya. Why do I give? It's a big and broad question. I guess it started when I was a kid and all the people around the organization and things that I was involved in, kind of role modeling giving, right? There were people giving and serving all over and all around me. So as I've gotten older, I've wanted to sort of emulate that myself. Also just trying to pay attention to what's going on in my community and around the world and being more aware of things certainly makes me want to give even more. So I find myself as I get older wanting to do more and more and more. So I'm planning for that as sort of the career, we'll be winding down at some point and hopefully more service hours, like as part of like how I'm spending my time is how I'm thinking about it. So it's a gift to be able to give, whether it's time, money, advice. I mean, it's a gift. So I'm blessed when I'm able to do it.
Thank you, David. That's one thing that stands out when you were talking. You said that to be able to give and you learned while you were young. You saw it while you were young. And then now to be at this age and continue what you've seen. I mean, it's a blessing because what you're doing is you're transferring that to others to see. So I like that. I'd like to move now to the next brand ambassador, Tanya Lewis. And please remember to mute your phones. Tanya?
Yeah, I love so much of what David said. And, that's why I was so honored when I was asked to be a part of this, like, super gorgeous, this is a family. And this mission and this opportunity for me has a lot to do with my own legacy. Like David, spoke to, I feel so much now at this stage in life, entering the second half of my life and seeing so many people that I love pass on much sooner than what I even planned for, being widowed and seeing the change in my family has only increased what started a long time ago in regard to really wanting to leave an energetic footprint behind, like to really recognize there are no replays in life. And what we do that's absolutely fulfilling and meaningful, they're the only things that I feel really give us that fullness of joy. You know, so many other accolades and things that we can accomplish have a lot to do with ourselves. But I just feel like our wholeness and our even operating as a global family, when we feel our best, is when we're acting like we're a part of a big family and we're sharing what we have and we're contributing in ways that outlive us. So for me, I want to model that to my children. I see them being extraordinary givers now, and they actually even teach me in the way that they serve and the way that they're generous. But I know what it is to lack, leaving home at 15. And I love being able to be a part of someone else's expansion and their ease in the ways that we've been blessed. Like we've just been blessed to be able to share. So it's a great opportunity and a really a great honor and privilege. It's not that we're doing something special. We got to give. We get to give.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, this is awesome. So, it's funny. Even in my job, they always say I have this third eye, because I'm very analytical. So when I hear people talk, there's certain keywords that come out that I'm like, okay, I know what this person is. And so the first thing I heard with you, like same with Dave, his power and reason for giving, you said fullness. Mm-hmm. So being able to give gives you that fullness. It fills you. You're not empty. You're not void. You have a purpose. And that's that one word that, fullness. I'm like, okay, she's on the right track. She's filled up, and that's awesome. And now our next brand ambassador, last but not least, Cheryl Parker.
Hey, I started on this journey with ATDOE about a year and a half ago. And to speak with what David said, I recently retired from education after 35 years. So I prayed, Lord, send me what I need to do. I have a different season in my life. I'm ready. Where am I going? And I was approached at church to be on the global outreach team, to join in on global outreach expenditures and decisions and things. Well, we got a letter from Karen Carter that filtered down to our team somehow, and it landed in my hands. And it was a request to support ATDOE Foundation. Well, I'm an educator. I believe in Christian education. I was a school principal at a Christian school, and education and children just speak to my heart and soul. And I was like, we're doing this. I just got so fired up. I shared it with my team, and before it was over with, we had adopted, I think we grabbed a hold of 14 or 17 students that we have made our own and are embracing and supporting. And I plan on my goal is to continue with those kids every year. That's what I'm committing myself to until they can graduate. And as far as being brought up as mission-minded, I grew up in a Baptist church with all of the mission-oriented little classes we went to. And so I've always known how important it is to give. And to those that have been given much, much is going to be required, I believe. And I believe that we should do that. If we've been given, then it's our job to share. So that's a little bit where I come from.
Wow, Cheryl. Okay, you know where I'm about to go now, right? Wow. So I see two things. So we all say that teachers are special. We always say that, right? And with this COVID, we've all learned that teachers are special.
And I'm still doing that. You can see in the background.
Teachers are special. Teachers have that nurturing spirit. They pour of themselves into the children. And it's not even about salary. It's about that rewarding experience, seeing that child learn. And then you said something, too much that is given, right? More is required. Mm-hmm. If only we can all live by that. The more we get, the more we have to give.
I believe
Very,
that.
very important. Very. I'd actually like to open the floor for our founders now. I just think at this point in time, it's amazing to hear how passionate they are and give us a quick status update so our viewers can hear what we've been doing for 10 years.
Thank you so much, Tanya and everybody. It's amazing, right? You think about 10 years. I was just having a conversation with Jeanette, the board member who's here a few minutes ago, and I'm still out of words to see what this foundation has done for 10 years. How God continues to expand, and the level of community and support and vision-minded people that he's connecting to this vision just tells me that this is going to be even bigger than what we can ever imagine. And I heard some key words: how much is given, much is expected. Service fulfills you as an individual. I have the same story. Grew up in a very humble background. I had a very humble beginning, but God has been good and has blessed me and my family. And having this opportunity to give back and tell my story by reassuring these little kids in Buchanan, Liberia, 370, I do believe these are doctors, lawyers, accountants. So it's paying forward fulfills me. So I'm so excited. ATDOE Foundation, providing education to 370 kids, women empowerment, just seeing women empowered reminds me of my mom. My mom was a businesswoman, did not have formal education, but believed in the power of education. She just wanted a chance to take care of her kids. She just wanted to rewrite the story. And she just needed somebody to believe in her. That's why I'm believing in those women too. As we take care of their kids, we allow the mother to rewrite their story. So 10 years, September 18, I cannot wait to celebrate with all of you at 6:30 on Zoom. Well, sorry, this is COVID time, so we have to go Zoom, but we're still going to celebrate because the blessings and everything that has been accomplished is so enormous. So we have to celebrate. Thank you. Francis?
I also want to re-echo the words of Saya and many of you who came before me. When you think about it, America is the greatest country on earth. Some of us are here today because somebody paid it forward for us. I went to undergraduate and graduate schools in this country with the institutions that we work for in scholarship. So if somebody provided scholarship for me, I believe that I can do the same for somebody else. We came from a country, as you all know, Liberia is a poor country. Nevertheless, this organization provides the vehicle through which I can pay forward. So 10 years ago, I'm a numbers person. We started off at 75 students. To be at 370, that's about 500% increase. And so when I think about it and put it in perspective, I'm led to say it is by the grace of God that we have come thus far. And when I look at 10 years, I can truly say it is because of the donation and contributions from people like you on the screen tonight that we are where we are. And I'm hoping that we can take this to the level that we even transcend all of us. My biggest goal and dream for this foundation is that in the next 10 years or 20 years, somebody from the school will be sitting to where I'm sitting because somebody planted a tree many years ago and we are under that shade. My job tonight is to plant such a shade for someone else to sit on. That's what 10 years mean to me. I could go on and on, but I will pause.
Oh, that is amazing. So viewers, can you see the energy here? Can you see the passion here? And I'm going to wow the viewers right now. We built a second facility.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. We have facility number 2. That means what? We're going to go from 370 students to 500 plus. Did you hear that? 10 years of servitude, 10 years of support, 2 facilities, 500 students, free education. So it's not that easy. We're talking about operational costs. We're talking about book bags. We're talking about supplies. We even offer free lunch. Then you move to the micro servicing for the Women's Empowerment Program. We are now giving free micro loans to the women. Our basic healthcare program, we're providing basic healthcare services to the community in Liberia. If that's not a wow factor for you, if that doesn't make you go www.atdomf.org, I don't know what can. I'm gonna push back to my brand ambassadors here, because our brand ambassadors saw something in us. And so, Dave, I'm gonna ask you, as a brand ambassador, what did you see and why ATDOE?
So I've known Saya for many years, and I can remember back when she was first starting, and Frances I got to know a bit later, but the first thing that comes to mind is passion, as you've already mentioned, right? There was passion and a vision. And for me, you know, the fact that someone wants to change the world, and it's not even their own community here, it's like halfway across the world. Yeah, it just was a no-brainer, right? At that point, knowing Saya, knowing who she was, being a friend of hers. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much immediately like, how can I be involved somehow? And I've been sort of involved since, but it just, when I think of legacy, even now, like when I think of legacy, I think of the work that Saya and Frances and everyone has done, but really started with them and their vision. And it makes me personally think about myself, right? And you know, what do I get to do? You know, what do I get to start? What do I get, like, how do I get to serve in that way, right? So it's raised the bar in terms of like what I think can be done, you know, which is really, really powerful. And helping so many kids and women, it just, gosh, it is remarkable. It's remarkable what's been done.
Thank you, Dave. And you know, it's amazing because it doesn't get tired. You know, you have to remember, you have 370 children right now, but that's for 1 year. So that grade shifts. So you have the new kids coming in. So you start the wheel all over again. We have to start fundraising all over again. We have to start finding supporters all over again. It doesn't stop, but then it's not tiring because it is for something. You're making like a big difference in someone else's life. Mm-hmm. I'd like to move to Tanya. Tanya Lewis, you know, when I was putting out the flyer, I had people saying, is that a celebrity? Is that a celebrity? I was like, yeah, she is. She's a celebrity in her own way. Yes, she is. And it's like, what did you see, you know, in your busy schedule? What did you see in ATDOE to want to become a brand ambassador?
Well, first and foremost, that is such a sweet thing to say. Like on every level, that just touches my heart, because I do think that every single one of us has a star that lives inside of us, and we get to shine that to God's glory in the way that we're meant to. So I just pray that everyone's celebrity, their inner celebrity, will be released to make a difference, right? And I genuinely, like, I was sitting here thinking about this and literally tearing up as I was listening to Saya and Frances speak about this vision. And I literally felt like I was back in the same seat at the gala just a couple years ago. And for me, it was such a divine happening, like unfolding, to even be there that night. Like, I learned about the open seat like 2 or 3 hours before the gala started, and like went home, tore my whole closet up once Jeanette was like, come, I want you to be a part, like tore the whole house up trying to get in a dress. And when I got there, I really didn't know what to expect. But as I started to listen, my heart was just so touched. And I think my own connection, one, as a mother of 6 children that I've birthed, I have my other in-law babies and the God gift babies that have been a part of my journey. But just being able to raise my own children. So I related and really connected to the mamas. And also being an entrepreneur for 30 years, you know, I thought about my beginnings. And someone spoke to, Francis was speaking to the fact that we've all been sown into, like we are, because someone else sowed into us, and no one, we don't become ourselves by ourselves, period. It's not the way that the world works. And so really learning about even the efficiency that everything, the way that it's been established, I was shocked at how little we could contribute, or what some would say maybe sacrifice, that we take for granted every single day. And seeing how efficient Saya and Francis and all of you beauties that have worked so hard on these missions, like we can get so much done with so little for each student. And that for me was one, it was impressive. It showed that there was a thoughtfulness about the intention behind the expansion and how many people could be touched. And as I said, just looking at what I know can happen with a seed, if a woman who's the nucleus of the community can be empowered and can create and become self-sufficient, how that trickles down in our family. You know, and then the education piece. I've also been very fortunate that because of my business, I was able to choose to educate my children as a homeschooling mom for 20 years. So I was able to homeschool my children. I was able to build my businesses. My husband was alive. I was able to be a wife and a contributor in our community. And I know what that does for a woman's soul. So to really think about the fact that we could be sowing into education and knowing what education does, it opens doors. It opens possibility. So everything from the passion that I saw in Saya and Francis, and not just them, but their babies, the love that I saw in their family, the love that I saw in the entire ATDOE family. I just wanted to be a part. I was like, I'm getting up in there. So that night was a no-brainer to give, but the honor of Saya inviting me to lunch and actually inviting me to do what really I had been praying about. I had been asking God, where am I supposed to plant? Where am I supposed to give? And what am I supposed to become a part of that is divinely aligned? So for me, it was divine alignment. And I know that everyone has to be, you know, feeling that something speaks to you and calls to you. But I also think that there's just a place, as you said, Tanya, that some of this is a no-brainer. Like, what do we really want to leave? Where do we really want our money to have a purpose? And there's nothing greater than investing where that investment is going to continue to grow and multiply and grow and multiply and literally touch nations, not just in Liberia, but all of the people, that every one of these children, that they become everything that they're meant to be in all the ways that they'll serve and make a difference in our world. It's a no-brainer. And I really genuinely, I just speak with so much thoughtfulness that everyone has to hear their own mission, but I do feel like we need to be compelling one another to really assist in this growth, because nothing happens without our unified vision, one vision and one mind. So I am proud that if I went to heaven tomorrow, that I'm a part of something that's this meaningful, because I love this. I love this mission. I love it.
Oh, I love the energy. Love the energy. You know, known fact, I heard you, Tanya, you said that when you found out how much it cost to just support a child, did you know that $300 takes care of one student for the whole year?
Whole year.
For the whole year. $300.
Amazing. That's a restaurant tab for some people.
Yes, it is, for one time.
Absolutely. It's a wine tab, actually, for some people. So that's a known fact. And so Cheryl, don't laugh, Cheryl, but now every time I see you, I just think, you know how when you see a military serviceman, you give them a salute, you have to salute them. So it's almost like now every time I look at Cheryl, I'm like, she's a teacher. I have to give her all the respect now because I know what you go through.
Well, I will say this, it is a God-given calling to be a teacher, to do it right. It has to be something that I grew up knowing I wanted to do that. From the time I was like in the second grade, my whole life, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So I think it's to be good at it, it's a calling. And that's one reason this speaks to me, because education is so empowering and so important. When I found out that it's only $300, I thought, I know lots of people who can do that. They just need for me to tell them, because they didn't know. And I didn't know. I had not even ever heard of it. But the more that we can get the word out and our ministry can grow and spread. And when I shared it with my team, I'm now the global outreach team leader since I joined on a year ago. Anyway, I speak to them about what's going on. They're all like, yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to be a part of that, because it's such a small amount of money to provide such a big gift to someone. And I'm also about empowering women to be self-sufficient. And I saw a video of the women singing about sewing. I think that's so special that they're that excited. We've been part of that. We're giving them that joy of learning to do something to sustain their children and their life there. And also the basic health care that we can provide is important to me. Saya and I were talking one day, and she said, Cheryl, I'm not scared of COVID. I'm not scared of COVID. I grew up where there was malaria. COVID doesn't scare me. But she said, some of these people never go to the doctor unless they're about to die. And that spoke, I thought, I can't even relate to that. This is so, so important. Basic health care and needs. And we have got to get out there and do that for those people. I believe that if we can have a small part in helping these people sustain their life, and the children, we're growing the next generation. We're putting those kids that we sponsor, we're growing the new leaders of tomorrow, I believe. And that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Cheryl, thank you for that passion. When I go to the supermarket, the first thing I say is, well, I've donated. I'm putting a child in school. I'm walking with my chest out saying, I'm putting a child in school. What did you do today? I put a child in school, and that should spill over. Well, what did you do today? Well, I got my hair done. No, I put a child in school today.
Right.
It's fulfilling. It's a purpose. I'd like to open the floor again to our founders. They're not speaking enough about all the things we're doing, and I just want them to spill over. We have time, so let's talk about that women's microservice, that microloan program. Let's elaborate a little bit more, Francis, on the school and how much that it costs just to make those 2 buildings. Let our viewers hear what we do with all the donations.
Thank you so much, Tanya. And over the last few years, as you correctly said, we completed the junior high school building. And when you think about it, we're going to have almost 500 students. As far as the cost is pretty close to $150,000. When you think of $150,000 to host 500 students, putting that in perspective, here, $150,000 would be small money. It may just be a classroom or 2 classes here in America, because we talk to our kids in school. But in Africa, that money goes a long way. And those contributions came from viewers, donors, and individuals just like you and I. So we are grateful for those contributions, but we want to take it a step further. Every year, the marginal cost of maintaining the school increases every year as a result of the operations that we are embarking upon. And for those kids, those courses are free, but we have to go out there every day to solicit funding to run the operations back in Liberia. And this is why this gala is so important. The school building is there. We have to hire new teachers. We have to ensure that funding is available to run the operations of the school. As said earlier, we can be successful in many areas of our lives, have all of the accolades, but to be significant, we must serve others. And this is what we are doing. We are serving others. And I would like for Janet to chime in because she has been on the call as well. And when you think about it, I'm beyond excited about this foundation because it provides a vehicle through which we can do most of those things, if not all. And Janet can chime in and then say can come in.
Hello, everyone. My name is Janet Kape. I'm a board member of this awesome foundation. You know, when you talk about service, I wrote down everything that all of you beautiful ambassadors and handsome ambassadors stated earlier. You know, just the fullness you get. So much is given, much is required, legacy, vision. But the key word for me that I'm always yelling and screaming and be like, we have to stay in purpose. ATDOE is purpose. ATDOE is purpose. And hopefully I'm still on topic because I think we were talking about service or what. Yeah,
you got it.
Okay, so it's purpose. That's my word with everything. You know, going back to Tanya Lewis, I met her, I think 3 years ago, maybe 4 years now, I think 3 years, at a networking event at one of my friends, you know, spa, and actually Sarah was there. And so while I'm thinking I'm going to support my friend, I'm doing that. And there's purpose there. There's a lady there, a beautiful lady that we're going to meet who's just as passionate about purpose. And now she's here. You know, you just think about different things you do, places you go. I'm a first generation American. My parents were born in Liberia. We meaning me, my sisters and I were born here. And as I was sitting here, you know, as Saya was talking about, you know, her background, I just thought about it and thinking of purpose again, right? Because our parents came here to the States to get an education, but their goal was not to stay here. They were going to, after they graduated, we all were going to go back to Liberia. And so we were going to be, you know, raised in Liberia, but at that time, the war started. And so when you think about those kids, I could have been one of those kids. Maybe not in the exact same position, but who knows what the war could have done, you know, to my family, right? And so even outside of that, because I'm a giver, whether it's on the continent there, whether it's here, it's like, how can you live on this planet and not do for others? And even if you don't have $300 to give, do you have 10? Do you have 5? Do you have an hour to volunteer? Can you get on the live and share it? I mean, just give in some way. And so I can go on and on and on and on, but, you know, one other piece I want to touch on is my mom. She was a big part of speaking life and encouragement into Saya for building a whole school on the continent, and she's over here. And I just thought about again as I was sitting here. My mom passed away next year, make 5 years, still can't believe it. But anyway, she was born in Edina, which is, I guess, next to Buchanan. I don't know yeah, okay. And so where she was, there was not a school, and her parents couldn't afford to take her to school. So what they did is during the school time, they will send her and my uncles to Buchanan, where, you know, near where ATDOE is, to go to school. And so when you're thinking about giving and sponsoring, someone gave to my mother for her to have an education, for her to come to the States, to have me, for me to give, you know, it's just purpose. Y'all please give. Y'all know y'all have it. I'm sorry, I have to give a little unprofessional. Y'all give.
You know, Jeanette, you.
But thank you for letting me speak. I wanted to turn my camera off. Thank you.
Yeah.
But y'all, this is just awesome. And thank you for everyone who's just given in some way. So
Thank you, Jeanette. You're really bringing it close to home now when you speak of your mom, right? Cheryl, you mentioned when you saw the video of those women just singing for just being happy for the opportunity to learn how to take care of themselves. It just brings back memory of my mom, who wanted so much to have an education. And I still remember the story that she shared, how she was a maid to an educated family. And she will wear the uniform after school because she was asked to wash the clothes. So she will wear the uniform and envision herself in a classroom and play classroom because she did not have that opportunity. So being able to transcend that to another woman, to move her life forward, brings me the greatest fulfillment. I see my mom vision being alive in those women again, even though she was deprived of purpose, as Jeanette said, led her to Buchanan, to have me in that community, to be raised, to walk, had the humble beginning, and see her strive to educate 9 kids. And what more could I do than to relive her legacy and allow those women to sing again and say, thank God that somebody is recognizing me as a human being to be able to take care of myself and my kids. When I hear the stories that are coming out of Liberia, just because $150, the recent microfinancing loan, $150, we'll spend it for in a split of a second. In March, we were in Liberia, Francis, myself, Carmen, Lane. We took $10,000. Our honoree, Emmanuel Nugaris, invested $10,000 in 66 women, $150 a piece. And it's amazing the level of transformation that is happening because of $150. So as Jonah said, you can give 5, 10, share the word, be a champion, be an ambassador, pray for the foundation. That's what life is about, serving others. September 18th, there's going to be more exciting story at 6:30. I cannot wait. It's 10 years of consistent success because of all of you. So we're so humble to have such great community of support.
Absolutely. Thank you, Saya. Gosh, there's so many words. First of all, our gala is going to be September 18th, 6:30, virtual gala. That's the first thing. Second thing, just like Jeanette said, you don't have to give $300. Just give of your time, yourself, whatever you can donate. I was one of those children. I can't even say back then in Liberia, because it's still happening today, where you go to work, and here in America, you know for sure, after 2 weeks, you're going to get a deposit into your account. Well, in Liberia, you might not get a paycheck for about a month to 2 months. That means you have to live on credit. And when I say credit, I'm not talking about a credit card they have here in America. I'm talking about you write down on a piece of paper that, hey, I owe you. I owe you until I get my paycheck from the government. Well, that was me. I went to Catholic school in Liberia on credit because the government did not pay my father his salary. I was one of those children who was on credit for uniforms, school supplies, and tuition. So it is my privilege to give back to those children because it was done to me. It's something that I must do. And so I'd like to open up this floor of heart and giving and passion. And Dave, you are a young man amongst a lot of women. So I can only imagine, you say how you grew up like this, but you're a brand ambassador for ATDOE Memorial Foundation that's in a totally different country. How do you feel? What can you share with the viewers that can relay to them to make them understand why you're here?
It's been said, I'm not sure if this word's been said yet, but it's been spread throughout everything that's been said is like responsibility, right? And you know, just over and over again, it's if we as human beings have the means and time, money, you know, whatever that looks like, I believe it's a responsibility to get involved and give back. And you know, this particular mission is so special because the folks that are on the other side of it, like, need it so badly, you know, like it's as your story, right? I mean, it changes people's lives, right? It's not necessarily giving them a meal or giving them some clothing, and it's changing people's lives, right? And that's to me what's sort of separates it from some of the other things that are also, they're all worthwhile causes, right? Every cause is worthwhile in my opinion, but this is really transformational stuff. You know, empowering people with education, with you know, occupational tools, with healthcare, basic health. I mean, we in this country don't really think about that, right? Because it's generally available. And so yeah, just the fact that it's I believe it's a responsibility, and there's a lot of folks in need, so we get to pay attention to that.
Yes, responsibility. That's key. We are responsible for educating 370 children, responsible for their needs, responsible for them for the whole day, responsible for those 2 buildings that we have now. So we can't just let go anymore. We're responsible for breathing people, breathing children, women who depend on us now to help give them doors of opportunity for businesses. Look at the basic health care that we're providing now for the communities around the school. We are now responsible. Dave, I love that. The big R. And so brand ambassador Tanya, 6 children. That is a blessing. That is a blessing. And to homeschool them, that is a bigger blessing. As a brand ambassador for these children in Africa, watching them in the videos dancing, and there's actually one who didn't know how to write their name. And within being in school for 1 semester, they were able to facilitate. Do you remember what's the young child's name with the shiny shoes? He's Linda's favorite child. You guys know his name. What's Linda's favorite child?
Darling boy George.
Darling boy. So Tanya, as a brand ambassador here in the United States, I asked you the same question again. You're looking at another country. You know, Dave says we have a responsibility.
Yes.
But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I even heard his heartbeat on sometimes the overwhelm of there being so many causes, right? Like when you're someone that has this consciousness and this awareness of the need, and there being so much need, and a lot of that right in our backyard, you know, I've heard people say things like, why are we looking across the ocean? We have all this need here. And for me, it comes back to what I said earlier, which is really my own intuition, what I hear God speaking to me about the right now. Because when we're in that alignment of what's calling to us, like I couldn't shake even just sitting at the gala, like I was so moved. And when I get that kind of an unction, one, I just know that that's what I'm supposed to be a part of. But in terms of like, if we even look at things logistically, what I do look at in the US, and even one of the reasons that I'm really proud that my children have served in so many different capacities, but also that I have one son that has been a frequent missionary that's devoted many, many years as a younger man to go overseas and to serve, is because I also feel like we do have a lot more structure here. We have a lot that is available in terms of healthcare, in terms of education, in terms of opportunity. We do systemically, there are many things that could use an up level, even right here in our own country. But we know if we start to compare the kind of organization, the kind of abundance that's available in Africa, in Liberia specifically, compared to here, those programs and things don't exist the same way. And if we really get that we are, I love Dave saying, we are responsible. We are a family. We're a global family. We are not separate, not in any part of the world. We are one. We're one. And this disconnect that we've had about people living in other regions, that in itself is a form of some kind of illusion that we're living. We are responsible for our beautiful global family in one way or another. And so when I look at where the need is and where the need is greatest, it is in Liberia specifically, and in other countries where there aren't as many facilities and there aren't as many, missions and groups that are there with enough to support the masses. So I just feel like we're so blessed here. I mean, I do feel really blessed to contribute to many different beautiful foundations. And I'm really proud about that. I'm really proud to have sponsored children for a long time. I'm really proud that there were things that even when I had less to give, that I could put my $29 somewhere, my $19 somewhere, and then I was able to keep compiling those things on auto debits. But when, again, I look at areas that are suffering and that without us paying attention, I love Dave used the word, we need to pay attention. And right now we have to pay attention. How can we have this kind of abundance and see scarcity or see a lack thereof and not at least begin to make a dent in it? I get just as overwhelmed as everyone else with the need that is in all these different areas. But what I do know is if we sit in overwhelm, a confused mind does nothing. But if we do one thing, and that I'm inviting all of you that might be seeing this, if you do one thing today and join us in what we're doing right now, you get the opportunity to decide something later or to, begin to help here and add on. But doing nothing is never going to move the needle in anything. So I do really just feel so blessed to have a global vision and to recognize that when Liberia is better, we'll be better here.
Awesome. Oh, Tanya, that's awesome. Our brand ambassador, Cheryl, you said something. You said that you just had to ask, and you were able to get 14 students sponsored. Go ahead and talk a little bit more about that.
Well, let me tell you how that came about. During COVID, we were not able to take any mission trips because none of us could travel. So that left us a surplus of money at the end of the year that you have to spend it. You know how those rules are. You got to spend this or you're going to lose it or whatever. So, I mean, what fun is that to spend money? So we sat down and we had all these things that we contribute to. And when we were talking about them, I said, well, I want to talk to y'all about ATDOE. I want to talk to y'all about this school and these children. And I was hoping that they would say, yeah, let's do a few. And so one of the members, Wes, one of my guys that's on the team with me, he said, well, how much money do we have and how many can we sponsor? And that's how much we came up with the number. I mean, we just want to give all we can give. And that's how that came about. And I've already got them committed for this coming school year. So, it's about children and education and paying forward and being Christ followers and leading. When we do something for these children, we're doing it in the name of Christ. We're doing this for the furtherance of Christ in Christ's kingdom. We're paying ahead. And that's what we realize on my team. And I have got a tremendous, great church body that is willing to give. And if they just know, if they just are made aware and educated. And it was like before I got the letter from Carmen, we had no idea this even existed. And we need to share that as many places as we can. And that's I feel like if people just were aware of like what somebody like Tanya, I think she said $150 or $300, that seems like such a small amount to some of us, you know, or most of us in America probably. So that's what I think. We just got to get the word out and share and make people aware, because I was unaware, you know.
Yes.
And also, one other thing I was going to say, she mentioned there's so many, we're pulled so many directions. Well, I've had people say to me, well, why Liberia? You know, we've got problems in South Alabama. What, you know, why don't, and I said, yes, but those are different problems. And we're empowering someone's future in Liberia. So.
Thank you, Cheryl. Now that's to the viewers. Before we close out with Saya and Francis, to the viewers, Cheryl said something very important. Made aware. These are why these videos are in place. These are why these conversations and dialogue is in place. We are reaching out to you. We are reaching out to you with education, knowledge. We're trying to make you aware that these things exist. These things happen. There's children that need. That's why we're doing this. And so I'm going to go ahead and, I think this is just a beautiful dialogue. I thank you, Dave and Cheryl and Tanya, for giving me the opportunity to question you. And Francis and Saya.
Okay, good. Awesome.
Francis and Saya, we're going to go ahead.
Your hands will go.
Please mute your phone.
Where your brother?
Hello.
On mute.
Okay, we're going.
I'll keep it when he.
The host may have.
It's 7 to 8.
She's not.
No problem. And so we're going to go ahead and let Francis and Saya speak and close us out.
Thank you so much, Dave, Cheryl, and Tanya. You know, Cheryl, I like the word you said, just share. And I want to thank you in advance because October 3rd, Cheryl has invited us to Alabama to speak at her church, 2 services, to share the story about these kids. And she is believing, we are believing with her, that coming out of Alabama October 3rd will be a game changer. This is just another way of giving, setting up the platform to allow us to talk more about the children of Liberia. You don't have to give money if you can, but just share, tell somebody. And my ask to you tonight, tell somebody about September 18 at 6:30. I want to challenge our viewers. Tell somebody that just $150 can change a woman's life, and that woman can empower 10 people within her family. Just $300 can also help a child become the new president of Liberia or the new missionary, or you never know what his destination will lead. He could be the doctor that could save your life or find the medication for AIDS. You never know. Just $300. So again, tonight, I want to thank you all for listening. And I do believe that these words are powerful and you will do something. Francis?
I also want to say thanks to all of you tonight who came on board, took time off your busy schedule. You could have been doing something completely different. We came here tonight enhancing the vision of ATDOE Memorial Foundation. I refer you to our website, www.atdoemf.org. Our donations don't start on September 18. We've been collecting donations from January to present. So for those of you, our viewers out there, don't wait for September 18 because we may be overwhelmed on September 18 with with the website and what have you. So we are humbled by our preferment to serve as a conduit to provide these services to less fortunate kids. God could have chosen anybody else. So I want to say tonight, thanks to each and every one of you, and thank God for the opportunity that we have. We don't take it lightly, and we want to use it the right way. And so September 18, share the word. Social media has become one of the greatest platforms in contemporary times. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You guys are sensational when it comes to social media. I want to say thanks to all of you. Share the word. And if anybody have questions, refer to our website. Thank you. And we want to thank God for the opportunity. And thanks to you too, Tanya, for such an excellent job tonight. You know, I saw a different side of you.
Yeah.
I'm just impressed because you've come across most times as a shy person, but tonight it did not show. So I want to say thanks to you and all of you guests for taking time off your schedule. ATDOE, through our Women Empowerment Services, through our health awareness services, as well as our free education, one of those platforms, one of those mediums can touch somebody somewhere, and they can be a part of this global village. So I want to say thank you for this opportunity to speak to you guys tonight, and we look forward to more and more conversations.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
What do you got there?
I love his flag in the back.
Yeah, I was trying to.
I'm recording it just stuff.
Oh, stop.